Development versus natural preservation is an age-old debate. But very rarely does a 200-year-old forest become the center of such controversy. The Khimki Forest has come under the microscope after the government decided to build a new highway between Moscow and Saint Petersburg. The road will cut through the ancient forest, but what really angered environmentalists is the route it takes in the forest.
It is a very wide road shall be built here. It will be 10 rows of the road, and because it goes right through the center of the forest, it is done deliberately to make the most harm to the forest. That's why this road is absolutely bad from ecological point of view.
Yaroslav is one of a team of activists who live in the forest and have made it their mission to stop the new highway from being built. Their constant disruption forced President Dmitry Medvedev to suspend all work on the road for 6 months. But after a review, the work restarted and the activists were back. Alexei Zatvornik is a lawyer by day and an activist by night. He insists the work that is being carried out in the forest is illegal. He spends every spare minute he has in the camp and credits his fellow activists for keeping him motivated.
Our people, they act like slaves. They live like slaves, and they talk about human rights, about nature, about arts, about freedom with some kind of cynical sarcasm. It's where upsets me. And when I first get to Khimki Forest camp, I saw quite a very different picture. I saw people who know that they are against the police, that they are against the establishment, that they fight against the great money, the great power, but it does not stop them. They still believe in their aims. They still believe that they can win and they will win. It makes me believe in people again. It's very important.
Motivation levels are hard to maintain for these activists given what the security guards put them through. While these sorts of incidents are quite frequent, they rarely occur in front of the journalists.
They started a fight, and it was very, very violent. So the securities they beat us, they kicked us by when activists were on the ground. They hit them by legs. They even took a big stick, and there were about 7 securities, and one was without uniform but very aggressive too. And we said the police that you should detain them, and they did not detain them. And because of such feeling of absolute unpunishment, they continue and they start acting more and more violently.
When asked for their version, the guards say that they are doing what they are told, keeping these so-called hooligans from disrupting work and damaging the equipment. The authorities insist that a new road is desperately needed between Russia's 2 major cities, both from an economic and social point of view. In a statement on the government's official website, Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said, "The question is where to route this motorway. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that we have always paid great attention to nature conservation issues." But organizations like Greenpeace contradict Mr. Putin's claims, saying other factors are at play.
We told the government that there is a clear violation. We even applied to the court, but the court said that If the government decided that other ways of construction are not suitable for the government, this means that there is only one way, and this means that there is not a formal violation. We think that this is a very tricky way to interpret the law, and but usually when government and somebody else comes to the court, government wins independently of what law is saying indeed.
Corruption is not a new topic in Russia. In fact, Russians are so used to it, they simply shrug it off saying, "This is Russia." Vitaly Libin is the chief editor of a national magazine, Russian Reporter. His reporters have been covering the Khimki issue for some time. He agrees that new roads are required in Russia, but revealed another sinister twist.
Yes, it's really so. We need a new road, not only in Moscow and Saint Petersburg. Almost all the city in Russia need new roads. In the world, big constructive projects are influence on different civil interests and private interests. It's not a problem. For me, problem is beating of journalists of Khimki and forces and violence against civil activists and journalists.
After weeks of trying, we were finally able to track down one such journalist. Just 2 years ago, Mikhail Beketov was the editor of a popular newspaper, known for pointing out the Khimki administration's corruption. He was working on an article about the new highway when unknown assailants attacked him in his home. The attackers cut 4 fingers from his left hand. They also cut his right leg. And their repeated blows on his head caused brain damage, which left him speechless. Despite numerous attempts, the Khimki administration was unavailable for a comment. Igor Kalyapin is an award-winning human rights specialist who deals with such cases on a daily basis. He is not at all surprised by what happened to Beketov.
У нас закон, он вот как лампочка, то есть вот можно выключателем включать, выключать. Вот в данном случае, применительно к событиям в Химкинском лесу, вот эти столкновения между экологами и вот этими там, прокладчиками этой просеки, этой дороги, то есть они вот взяли и на время вот там был создан такие вот правовые джунгли, то есть вот побейте-ка их там, чтобы они вам не мешали, то есть вот мы там мы закрываем глаза.
The activists realize that they may be fighting a losing battle. Do you think you can stop the road from being built?
I'm not sure.
Then why keep fighting?
It's my life. It's my country. It's my forest. It's my personal environment.
Both sides claim that the public is with them, and both accuse the other for pursuing their own personal and political agenda. Yelena Vartanova is the Dean of Moscow State University and a member of the Social Science Research Council in the capital. She feels that neither side is clean, but believes that the activists are in their way bringing something to the attention of the society as a whole.
I do believe that many people really suffer in traffic jams and they don't want to spend hours to get from Moscow to Khimki or from Moscow to St. Petersburg 2 times more during ages. But on the other hand, people want the discussion. People want decision makers to ask their opinion. And so Khimki Forest definitely reflects the position of those who would like to be heard by those in power. And I think it's a very good sign, because if we speak about critical mind and if we speak about the responsibility of people for their own lives and for their surroundings, this is really a good development. you.